Welcome to First National Bank's Coach's Corner with Tony Tone and Muscatine High School football coach Jake Mueller. Listen online at vintage931.com or on your smartphone with the free Vintage Sound app. Let's start the show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. First National Bank Coach's Corner with Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller. Last week, Muskies opened up the season on Thursday. They went to Cedar Rapids to take on Kennedy. Going into the game, Coach, Cedar Rapids Kennedy was ranked number 3.
Yeah.
And you guys went up there and you beat them.
We did. Yeah.
So, obviously, you're a serious, kind of intense guy. And I've been watching the game online on YouTube, and I kind of fast-forwarded towards the end. And it was kind of cool to see the coaching staff, once the game's over, sort of like, wow. Like, it's not a sense of relief, but probably accomplishment, right?
It is. I mean, there's just a lot of things that go in. Like, the feeling at the end of the game, like, you know, for me personally, like, felt like the last 2 times we played Kennedy, probably should have found a way to win the game. Mm-hmm. And those still, you know, stick to you. And then also, you know, it's a deal where it's a long off season, you know, and so you work a long. I probably watched the Bettendorf Kennedy playoff game. I mean, it had to be 30 or 40 times at least. So I just got there's just so much preparation leading to that first game because that's all you know. That's all you can focus on really is that one game. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, a lot of time and effort goes into it. And, you know, it's always fun to win the first one, but, you know, against a good quality opponent like program like Kennedy, mm-hmm. You know, it's very satisfying for sure. You know, but stepping away from it, you also got to keep in the proper perspective. Mm-hmm. You know, it is one game; it's the first week, sure. But you know, that night definitely our coaches and kids definitely enjoyed the win.
Is it a thing where you have juniors and seniors that are mature enough to enjoy that moment, celebrate the win? Because I'm assuming last Friday at 7 a.m. y'all were swimming.
We were.
Win or lose.
Yes.
So it's kind of like we took care of business, enjoy it, but get ready to – it's almost like you got to erase it and let's move on to the next opponent, right?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. It's just the nature of how high school football is set up.
Yeah.
You don't have time to enjoy it for too long. But fortunately for us, you know, with the Thursday night game, we did have one extra day to kind of enjoy it a little bit more. Yeah. But we won't have that anymore. But
yeah.
You know, once you move past that and Saturday basically hits, it's time to move on to the next opponent.
Coming out of the game against Kennedy, a lot of positives. Anything that you saw, and again, we take into account that the opponents could be listening. So was there anything that you have been working on at practice that you want to correct? Because your defense played well, offense played well, some incredible numbers. But was there anything that you could pinpoint that the guys were working on this week?
I think more than anything, it's just cleaning up. You know, we did get a big win, and we did do some good things on offense and defense, but going back and watching film, there's a ton of things still that we need to correct. Mm-hmm. You know, we had a few turnovers, you know, so the number one, I would point to that right away. There's some things defensively where we, you know, gave up a couple of big plays that were not necessary. Like, sure. We knew how to defend it, and we just didn't do a good job of it. And so, you know, I think those things that just – they're correctable, and so we've got to just continue to work on being consistent and not giving up the big plays on defense and then not having those turnovers on offense because, you know, I felt like those things both could have been avoided.
Your opponent tomorrow is Iowa City West, and did you have an opportunity with the Thursday game last week? Did you go see them play? Have you watched film? Did you go watch future opponents? How did you spend your Friday?
At Iowa City West High School. Watching Iowa City.
Do you go in a disguise or no? Do you go? Okay, maybe not. Obviously, you're not wearing like a fake mustache.
Yeah.
Do you choose to not wear a Muskie shirt?
I did. And you know what I wore?
What?
A St. Ambrose football shirt.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you were incognito as a fighting bee.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. I did, but then a couple of my assistant coaches did wear Muskie football shirts, so they kind of destroyed that incognito-ness. But we went on the Southeast Polk side and sat over there.
Nice.
But I generally, we don't have anymore. It's hard to get a chance to go to watch a future opponent play. But
sure,
when we do, I don't like to wear any of our stuff because I don't like people asking me questions about Muskie football. Like I'm there to watch the high school game. So
it's you want to enjoy and genuinely probably enjoy watching another game that you're not coaching. There's not the stress.
I love high school football, and it's nice to just go to a game and not have the pressure of everything that's going on and people yelling at you and stuff like that. So it just kind of get to enjoy it, but also it was good for us to see in person and live action what Iowa City West can do, what they bring to the table, how big their kids are, the pace of which they play, and all that was good to see because we don't generally get to see that. We usually get to just see it on film. So we did get to watch it on film over the weekend, and even during the week, but we got to watch it live too. So
I think that's great. The speed of the game is a little different as opposed to watching it on the screen, isn't it? All right, listen, we're going to talk about that opponent. We're going to take a quick break and get ready for tomorrow night, Iowa City West coming to Muscatine. The first home game of the season, by the way. It's also YSF night, Youth Sports Foundation. So if you have kids involved in YSF, you need to be there tomorrow. We're taking just a 30-second timeout. It's the First National Bank Coach's Corner with Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller. Hang tight.
At First National Bank, we know the importance of taking care of our customers. Hear why Brian Musell chose to work with Raquel Oliva for his auto loan.
When I was shopping for a new truck, I immediately thought of First National Bank, where I love to bank. I stopped down for an auto loan, saw Raquel. She took great care of me, and I'm very happy with the service I got.
When you're ready for a new car or to go on a tropical vacation, see us for great rates on personal loans. And be sure to check out our new mobile-friendly website coming August 4th. Visit fnbmusc.com today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to First National Bank's Coach's Corner on Vintage Sound 93.1.
Just like that, we're back. It's Tony Tone and Muskie head football coach Jake Mueller. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, the 2016 Muskie football season off to a good start, defeating Cedar Rapids Kennedy last week. Iowa City West comes in ranked 8th, and off the air before we started, I was getting some notes, and from what I had been told about this team, this Iowa City West team, is that they have for sure a very talented wide receiver, but then you were saying that they're more than just one standout player, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he definitely stands out.
Yeah. Is he a big kid, or is he just that?
He's a little bit of both. He's, when you look at him, you're not going to say he's huge, but he's, he's 6'1", 195.
Wow.
For a receiver. He went to these camps over the summer, and I don't know if you watch, ESPN at all, but in the summer they have like the opening deal up in Oregon, and they invite the top 100 prospects in the country, and you have to qualify, and he was one of them.
Whoa!
So he was up there, and he's got offers from Oregon and Michigan State and Wisconsin and Iowa. And so really anywhere he would want to go, he could go. He's obviously very, very talented player, very good football player. And then they have another receiver on the opposite side of him, Devontae Lane, who he's a Division I basketball player. I know he's getting some Division I football looks as well. Jeez. He's a really big kid. He's 6'2", 200.
Whoa!
So he's a load. Both of them can run, and they have an offensive lineman that's already committed to Iowa State, and several returners from last year. Their offensive line is, I think their smallest guy in the O-line is probably 235.
Oh, boy.
So they're a big team up front on the offensive line. So we're going to have a real nice challenge on Friday, but it's exciting. We want to play teams like this. You want to challenge yourself each week to see where you're at.
And isn't it interesting because you go to Cedar Rapids last week, and that's a run-heavy team. They want to run it. They want to cram it down your throat, whatever the saying is. And then you come into this week, and I'm not saying that Iowa City West won't run the ball,
right?
But if you have two wide receivers like that, I assume you're going to be pass heavy.
Yeah, and they do. They're pretty balanced. When we went to the game, we expected to see a more wide open passing game, but what we saw was more. You're going to see a pro style offense where they're going to be under center and run, and then they'll throw play action to those guys down the field, and that's where it gets really dangerous. So, our defense is going to have, a real big challenge on Friday night.
I was going to say, because what do? Do you want to get pressure on the quarterback, but then at the same time, if you let those linebackers come in and secondary is playing deep, then you're right. Those short, those play-action plays can break big.
Yeah, they
right?
can.
It might look like it's going to be a 10-yard gain, but then if you have guys of this caliber talent, they can take a 10-yard play and make it into a touchdown or whatever.
Yeah, so that's what you want to you want to make sure you limit those plays. You know, they're too talented not to catch the ball and get some yards, but you want to make sure that you limit the big play and that you don't they don't break your back with big play after big play.
I think that is this opponent more challenging than last week? Not to take anything away from Cedar Rapids Kennedy, or is it a different type of?
It's a different type. I think in some ways it is more challenging. I think definitely offensively they've got more weapons. When you have a top 100 player in the country, he's really really good.
Right.
So they have offensively, I think, just a few more weapons. Overall, as a team, I think it's pretty balanced as far as matching them up against Kennedy. It'll be interesting because they're both in the same district,
right?
So it'll be interesting to see where those two teams finish. I would imagine they'll be the two best teams in their district. But I think it's a pretty comparable look as far as Kennedy and West. But both of them are a little bit unique in their differences. They play two different defenses and things like that. But yeah, I think that's a good comparison.
I love it. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. First home game. That's also nice, right? To get back home and not have to. Well, if people are yelling at you, it's coming from across the field more than likely. Hopefully, Muskie fans aren't yelling at you, right?
It happens. You never know.
But isn't it nice to come back home? 2 games at home before heading back out, right?
Yeah, we get the next 2 are at home, and so I know our seniors are chomping at the bit to play at home, and I think the community seems to be pretty excited about the win last Thursday night, and people want to see us play. And big thing we've been telling our seniors, you only get 4 of these things guaranteed. So this is the first one, and it's a huge opportunity against a really good opponent to go out and show everybody what type of team we're going to be this year.
It's absolutely crazy to think there's only 4 home games.
It is
guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's wild. So yes, please go pack the seats tomorrow night. If you can't make it to the game, you can listen on KWPC, AM 860, FM 95.1, the voice of Muscatine, Iowa City West, and then it's Pleasant Valley. It doesn't get any easier. I feel like these are just great opportunities to see how tough your guys are. Also things like being in good shape and all that working out is your endurance and stamina is being tested with these. It'd be different if you were playing opponents that you could kind of sleep on. But, man, I'm sure that there were moments during that game last week where some of the guys thought, all right, all the running we did, it's worth it now.
Yeah, I hope so. That's one of the things that I was really pleased with was I felt like in the fourth quarter, especially defensively, our kids really stepped up and we had 39 kids dressed and they had 73.
Holy cow.
And so, I felt like our kids really did a great job of finishing the game. And so from that, perspective, I was really, really proud of the kids.
And it
shows the type of preparation that we had.
Right, and it is tough, I'm assuming, to close out games, because how do you practice for control, having a lead, controlling it, and not, it's all the little things that come together, right? There's not an easy way to say, all right, when we get to the fourth quarter, I want to make sure that you have, that you still have your legs and that you're loose.
Yeah.
So what, is it just a combination of all the things that you work on?
Yeah, and, we try to practice as many scenarios as we can leading up to it, but there's always things that come up that you're like, man, wish I had one more day to get this in or to get that done. And,
right.
At the end of the day, the kids got to go and make the plays. And, our guys did that for the most part. Looking back at it, there's a lot of little things, down the stretch that maybe we could have done differently or better.
Sure.
That hopefully, we all learn from and do a better job next time.
Okay, so last thing, and it's not Muskie related, but obviously Saturday Iowa Hawkeye football kicks off. Drake Kulik, former Muskie, we touched on it last week, but as a coach yourself and Drake coming through the program, Saturday is huge for him. The opponent, whatever. You can't really sleep on these teams like Miami of Ohio, but it's going to be so great to see Drake out there, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm excited. My wife and I are actually going to go. Drake got us a couple tickets. So
wow.
I usually don't go to the Iowa games until later in the year, but
sure.
This one pretty special that he's going to be going and hopefully getting the start. And we'll either way, he's going to get in the game. So we're excited to see that, and really proud of him. And he's worked really, really hard to get where he's at, and it'll be fun watching him run out there.
I feel like Drake Kulik could be the quintessential Hawkeye, just that last one to leave the gym or the weight room, whatever, and has just grinded it out and probably practices too hard. Like, you probably don't like being his teammate. You're like, it's just practice, Drake. You have to hit me so hard. But, again, that work ethic is getting him to some good places, isn't it?
Yeah, he's an intense kid. There's no doubt about it. And he's been like that since I've known him.
Sure.
A really mature, hard-working kid who brings out the best in everybody, and so he's the type of guy that you want on your team, and I was lucky to have him, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, Muskie football tomorrow, Iowa City West at home. Listen on the radio, go in person, and then we'll get ready for Pleasant Valley next week. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good luck, and congrats on the win against Cedar Rapids Kennedy. That was fantastic. It's 20 minutes after 8 o'clock at Vintage Sound. We'll take a break and come right back. Hang on.
Don't touch